technology and the reliability of the internet access. But the participants from the different countries were very resilient in their ability to just keep attending and keep trying. The UNFPA officers in each country provided some support to the participants. And so whilst it was not without its challenges, the initial development of the program meant that it would have been delivered maybe to 10 or 20 midwifery educators as a trainer, but moving it, and one of the very few benefits of the COVID pandemic was that we moved to online delivery of this program, and the reach was much further. There was, for most of the modules, we had between 100 and 200 participants across a large geographical area. Not without challenges, but it was testament to the participants who just kept turning up every fortnight and participating, and hopefully, or we know from the evaluations, finding the program beneficial to their practice.
Thanks so much, Rachel. So I think the challenge for all of us as a community will be to, once we have this sort of proof of concept, it is possible, it is feasible in these settings, how with very limited external support and the least amount of resources, we can keep this sort of approach going, because you're going to have new educators coming through the system. Those ones who were trained 3 years ago, probably after some time, they need some refresher training. You know, I think the challenge is how you keep this going, and then how you keep demonstrating that it's relevant and it's making an impact. But I'm sure, you know, from a lot of the work coming from Rachel and colleagues from Bonnet, you know, you can see, you can get some ideas how we can move this forward. Felicity, are there any questions online?
I've got a great comment here. We can see that from Pakistan, we know that Rachel has been doing some work with another colleague rolling out this program, helping mothers survive and helping babies breathe online. Rachel, how's that teaching those clinical skills online?
Yeah, that's a really good question. It's very, as we all know as educators, it's very challenging to deliver the more clinical based skills or knowledge or practices online. And so what has happened in our online clinical skills modules or delivery of education is that the importance is to have a skilled facilitator in the room. So we can deliver some of the content, some of the theory, and some of the instruction online. But the real important part of that program is to have a facilitator in the room who works with us and makes sure the activities in the room are taking place. And we had some amazing co-presenters and co-facilitators in our Pakistan online delivery of both the faculty development program and also some of the Helping Mothers Survive program. Without that in-room expertise, it would have been much more challenging. And I know we have expertise in all of the countries that we're working within, and working together on delivering these programs is a new way of working online. But I think we've with the help of that in-country expertise, we've made it happen. Always improvements to be made, but yeah, we've learned a lot as well.
A really good example of blended learning, isn't it?
Absolutely, absolutely.
And a testament that people will sort of sit through, kind of rock up, as you say, day after day to online. And we know that we've all got a bit of COVID webinar fatigue. So it's, I guess, the challenge is to keep that interesting and interactive even when you're not there.
Yeah. one of my favorite and very honest quotes from the team in Pakistan was that when they heard that we were going to do a 7-day online faculty development program, one of them said that they thought, oh my goodness, how boring. But fortunately, we were able to develop and design those activities so that it's not just the online person talking, it's setting activities, it's the whole room being involved, it's feeding back, it's using active learning strategies. And so I was very relieved to hear that actually they didn't think it was boring, and that because of their engagement and their participation, that it worked out very well.
Well done to you. And there's lots of comments here just saying that the need is so great for that hands-on clinical training and to do it, regularly. Yep, fantastic. And you have to be very sort of, as one of the comments is saying, you've got to be a very skillful facilitator to pull that off. So well done. Any closing comments, Charles or Rachel?
So just to say that I think there's a lot to learn from what has been done. There's some very interesting comments in the chat. I'm sure Rachel will put in some responses to those comments. And then if we have more time in the end, we can pick up some of those ones, to respond. But in the interest of time, unless Rachel has any final words, we probably need to move to the next speaker.
No, I'd just like to thank all of those people who have been participants in all of the modules, and I look forward to working with them in the future.
Thanks so much, Rachel. And thanks to everyone joining us. So we're nearly 300 participants, which is fantastic. So it's a pleasure to introduce the next speaker. Maria Teresa Padilla is a senior midwifery educator, and she has been the president of the Association of Midwives in the Philippines, Philippine School of Midwifery for 9 years. And, I think I've met her a couple of times. She's an excellent speaker, and she will be speaking to us around about the midwifery faculty development program, in the Philippines. Welcome, Maria.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you. First of all, I would like to thank everyone for inviting me to share our experience with the faculty development that Rachel has given in 2020. Our association, the Philippine Schools of Midwifery, is already existing since 1985. So this association is always looking for faculty development, because one of the purpose of this organization is to develop our faculty members, develop a good curriculum for our midwifery students and our midwifery schools. And aside from that, we always have to develop leadership in midwifery education. Since the UNFPA Philippines invited us to join the curriculum development seminar or webinar sponsored by the UNFPA and in cooperation with the Brunette. So we have started talking about this. Since our association is already established and we already have our training team, we opted to join the training so that we will be able to see if this will be applicable in our country. So this curriculum development as well as the curriculum implementation is really very timely for us, because as of now, we are on the process of revising our curriculum, because the curriculum now in the Philippines is already a straight BA Bachelor of Science in Midwifery. This is an independent program that we do not have to undergo nursing before we can be a midwife. So it is really very timely that we have this training for our training team. So our training team consists of principals, deans, faculty members, senior faculty members from our country. So this team attended the training program, and after a few sessions with the training program, we have come up with an idea. Why don't we come up with a rollout here in our country? Because we think that every one of us have appreciated the training program that we have attended. So we started the groundwork by asking the UNFPA through Catherine if we can duplicate the training program here in the Philippines. So after having an exchange of email with Ms. Catherine and Federica, they have given us the go signal to duplicate the training program in our country. Together with this training program, we think that it is worthwhile if the signatories of the training or the certificate will be coming from the UNFPA and from our association. So we ask again the permission of Catherine and Federica if they can assign signatories for our certificate of participation. So they recommended to us that we have to communicate with our UNFPA Philippines so that your country representative will be the signatory for our certificates of training. With the help of Dr. Grace Viola, the UNFPA representative here in the Philippines, handling the maternal and child, she gave us the permission that we put the name of our UNFPA Philippines head or the director. So after that, we really have a hard time reconciling all of the concepts, all of the content of this curriculum, because we have to choose, we have to prepare our instructional design so that all of the things that we are going to include in our faculty development program is applicable in the country. So the team have a workshop. We prepared our instructional design. We prepared what are the questions that we have to consider as a requirement, just like what Rachel did. We have our assignment to be submitted. We also formulated those questions, and we also have to use the Google form to be one of the way they can submit their requirements for the training. To make it more useful, since in the Philippines we cannot renew our licenses and our professional regulation commission without our continuing professional development programs, we applied the program to the PRC, Continuing Professional Development Council, for the accreditation of the program. So luckily, during that time, it is still the height of COVID-19, we were granted 20 CPD units for the curriculum development, and for and the other is the curriculum implementation. We have another 25 units for it. So all in all, the two training programs, each of the faculty who attended this training program has earned 45 units, CPD units, which they can use for our renewal of the PRC licenses and ID. So our ID are always renewed every 3 years. So each one of the faculty members, the professional midwives, or the registered midwives need to earn CPD units for us to renew our PRC IDs. In addition to that, it's not the only benefit that we got from the training program. When we started delivering the training program to our attendees, in the first run of our program, we only have 50 participants. But after that, since the program has been the talk of the schools, they have to clamor another run so that they will be able to attend the training program. So we think that the training program is successful. especially that the evaluation of the faculty members towards the learnings that they have acquired, and the activities that we have included, which includes the preparation of the syllabus, preparation of a instructional design, which they will be applying for their respective schools. So those things, it's not only the knowledge that we have inculcated in the training program, but we also develop the skills of our faculty members in terms of preparation of the curriculum, their instructional design, and their syllabus. So we think that this is successful because we tried to ask our faculty members who attended the training program to rate or to evaluate how we have fared in the delivery of the training program. Luckily, we have already have an excellent mark from those who attended our training program. Although this excellent mark coming from the attendees of our training program, we really have some challenges in doing this. One is, it is at the height of COVID-19. So we really want to have it, face-to-face, but the height of COVID forbade us to do this. Then, the internet connection of our participants come and go during the training program. So we need to augment the activities of the training program so that they will not be lost and they will develop the knowledge and the skills that we want to develop from them. Then another is that the participation of other schools, which I think we failed to accept them anymore. We failed to have a third run because of the busy schedule of our trainers with their respective school, considering that we have to adapt flexible learning activities because of the COVID-19, and there are so many preparations that each school here in the Philippines has to undergo. But we are really planning that this training program for our faculty members be delivered this late 2023 and early 2024, but on a different mode. We want this to be more on a face-to-face basis so that the assigned requirements can be submitted on time. That is one of the challenges that we got, just like Rachel. How are they going to submit the requirements? They have late submission of the requirements. We have to check one by one the requirements so that we will be assured that they have learned something from the training program that we have conducted. All in all, our rollout of the two training programs that we have attended under Rachel is more successful than what we have expected. So we would like to thank that we have attended the UNFPA training program. We would like to thank the support of Ms. Rachel because she has answered all our query in our training program. And of course, the UNFPA person who has supported us in the rollout of this training. Thank you, and that's all for me.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Maria. I think that was really comprehensive. So I think, they took forward, the program that was introduced through Burnett with support from UNFPA, and they were able to adapt this, within the country. They put in a lot of features around sustainability. And they worked, with the schools to create the syllabus, the curriculum, instructional design, and then came up with a plan, to scale up. And then they recognized that it was important for certification and the importance of having various partners, on that certificate that people have. And that was quite important. And, what I really like is the fact that they put in an evaluation component. Was what they were doing making any sense? Was it having any impact? How did people like it and all of that? And they're able to demonstrate as well that that is working. Now, they went further in terms of sustainability to discuss with the Health Professional Council to register this as a continuous professional development program, which is very important because that is a very strong mechanism for sustainability. So I think this is really commendable. And this was not all without challenge. She really discussed the challenge of, online, sessions versus face-to-face. There's always that trade-off between cost, quality, and how best, you can optimize this. So this is a real challenge. And I'm sure there are several digital solutions to help optimize this. We saw the famous quote from Rachel about how people were pessimistic about the online approach, but they were pleasantly surprised and they really enjoyed the sessions because of some innovations that were put in place. So that's just a summary. We spent some time. We probably, if I ask Felicity just to take 2-3 questions from the chat, and then I'm sure Maria can respond to the rest online. Over to you, Felicity.
Oh, thanks, Charles. What a fantastic overview of Maria Therese's excellent presentation. I just want to say I think it's an excellent example of how countries, as you say, Charles, can take this program and run with it and adapt it to their own cultural context. And it reminds me very much, Maria Theresa, of the first step in this WHO framework for action about leadership, when Dr. Pandora Hartmann just said, don't wait, just do it. Just get out there and be a leader and create your own opportunities. So really congratulations to you and to the Philippines. It's wonderful. There are so many comments here about how other countries can run with it and requesting information from Rachel's faculty development and also from the Philippines. So I think what we're trying to do in the essence of time is to answer these questions as they come up. So thank you, Rachel, and Chisato for ensuring that. I think now what we might do, we do have a few minutes extra. Charles, I would really like you to speak for a few minutes about the wonderful work that the Liverpool School of Tropical Medicine is doing around faculty development, and in particular that emergency obstetric training that you are leading across countries. Would you mind sharing some key messages here for us?
Yes, so I mean, definitely we will not have enough time to go into detail of a piece of work that has evolved over several years. But I think this all came from some previous research that the quality of education, especially around emergency obstetric care in pre-service training, was not as expected. And as such, we started working with the midwifery regulator in Kenya specifically to look at the curriculum for emergency obstetric care, and then work with them and a group of stakeholders, including Ministry of Health, to update that curriculum. And then the next step was to build a training program for educators of how to teach emergency obstetric care. And then in doing that, we set up, 4 hubs, within those several training institutions where all these educators could go to be trained by their colleagues who were trained as trainers. So all of these hubs were equipped with all the mannequins you required. They had the curriculum already, and then they could teach it. So this way, you could ensure that all the schools were teaching, similar curriculum, similar based on the syllabi and to the same quality. The next thing was to think about how do these educators keep their skills up to date. And so a midwifery faculty development program, CPD program, was developed in agreement with the Nursing Council so that, educators could get some CPD points when they take this. And again, we had to use the blended learning approach. 4 modules covered online, and then the other modules, they take it face-to-face through, a quite intense 2-day training program in one of these hubs. I think there's still some work to be done in terms of the policy and regulatory side of things to make sure that midwifery educators are mandated to take those courses. And then that way we will make sure that they're having the correct training that they need for their jobs, not just any other training on the online platform. So that's just a quick summary. There's a lot of research around this. Duncan Shikuku, who is probably online, has done a lot of research. His PhD is all around a lot of this work. So lots of publications and several more coming out in the next few months. We're happy to take questions, and you can reach out to us, offline. Thank you, Felicity.
Thank you, Charles. Yes, you packed a lot into that. I appreciate we didn't have enough time for that. And yes, Duncan Shikuko has been doing some great work, and we've got in the chat, we've put some resources in from Liverpool School of Tropical Medicine. So we do encourage you to look at that. And I really endorse that comment, Charles, about making sure midwifery educators are mandated to continue their professional development opportunities, such as what Maria Teresa mentioned with the Philippines. I think it's so important. So please feel free to put in the chat, everyone, what your country or what your faculty is requiring in terms of updating your educator skills. Okay, we are coming to our last speaker, and it is my great pleasure to introduce you to Dr. Lydia Manzia. And Dr. Lydia is a midwifery educator at Moi University in Kenya and is a senior research associate at the Liverpool School of Tropical Medicine. So I am so happy that you are here with us, Lydia. And I'm going to just jump in and ask you to speak to the third indicator of this step, step 5, to review and update curricula to international standards. Because I know that your faculty is just about to undergo a review of your, I think it's your pre-service midwifery program. So we would love you to talk us through this, this process. Thanks, Lydia. Okay, Lydia, I think we still have sound issues for you. Daniela, did we not manage to work that out?
Yeah, we tried going back and forth in the chat to see if it would work. Lydia, can you try the other microphone?
Just trying now. She's tried both. I'm lip reading, Lydia. It's not going to work. You don't have another computer? No, it's probably too late.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, this is the night of the technical glitches, isn't it, Daniela?
It is.
That's
it is.
okay. We have a wonderful audience that is fully aware of the perils of technology and internet. Lydia, keep trying, and we are so sorry because I spoke to you yesterday and you have so many interesting things to share. Maybe you could be so kind as to pop some key messages in the chat because about that process of reviewing. You were talking about how your faculty got excited and I thought you were coming online.
I think she's trying another.
I'm trying to join using my phone, but probably maybe you can hear me now.
Yes, it's perfect.
Okay.
Well done. We have you, Lydia. That's so great. All right, jump in. Tell us about the process of your faculty updating your curriculum to global standards. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Felicity, and hello from Nairobi, Kenya. Yeah, at Moi University, which is one of the more than 30 public universities in Kenya, we have 2 midwifery programs that are being implemented and that are due for review. And that means that they have completed their full cycle and needs updating with current evidence in midwifery education and practice. These programs include the 4-year Bachelor of Science midwifery program within it. The midwifery content is dispensed or implemented in 3 parts. That is the preconception and pregnancy care in the year 2, intrapartum care competencies in year 3, and the postpartum and newborn care competencies in year 4. And then we have the 2-year full-time Master of Midwifery program. And then currently we have 2 curriculum in development. That is the 4-year BSc midwifery program and the 2 to 4 year PhD in midwifery curriculums. So we are actually currently undertaking both curriculum review and curriculum development processes, incorporating both updated national and global training guidelines for curriculum review and development process. Some of the important aspects that we are looking at, especially in the direct entry midwifery program, is the new guidelines from ICM that has just been released in June 2023, and the global standards for midwifery education for 2021, and most importantly, the essential competencies for midwifery practice for 2019 to ensure that all the competencies for midwifery are included within the curriculum review or development processes. Back to you, Felicity.
Wow, that's a lot of work, isn't it? Particularly to do that at the end of each cycle. So that's at the end of every 3 years. I was interested when I was talking with you the other day about the way you collaborate in terms of reviewing your curriculum. Can you share with us who actually works on the review and updating of your curricula?
At the end of each training cycle, that is at the end of every 4 years, the faculty who are at the Department of Midwifery will have several sittings in order to develop the structure of the midwifery curriculum. And first, each member or faculty member will update or develop sections or courses within the curriculum and incorporate the current evidence from both global and national guidelines. For example, the most current national quality maternal newborn care guidelines, maternal newborn continuum of care guidelines, respectful maternity care guidelines, and other guidelines such as abortion care guidelines or maternal and perinatal death surveillance and response guidelines. So once the member has been able to complete, then the departmental members will sit together and, call for some key stakeholder meetings to evaluate the content that is being added or updated. And this is usually involving the regulator, the Ministry of Health, Productive Health Divisions, the peers from within the university and other universities, including members of the teaching hospital, the Midwifery Association, and the students who are the consumers of the curriculum and members of the community. So these stakeholder meetings is going to discuss about the content of these curriculums. And once this has been completed, then the department will present the curriculum to the school academic board, where it will be discussed further and amended further before it is forwarded to the University Dean's Committee and the Directorate of Quality Assurance for university programs. Before then, it is approved by the University Senate for implementation. So it is usually a long process. It's been about 2 years since we started developing the BSc midwifery curriculum and the PhD midwifery curriculum, especially due to the COVID pandemic. There was a slowdown in the process, but now it is picking up. And so it takes quite a labor intensive, a lot of man hours, but it is worth it to safeguard the lives of mothers and babies. Thank you.
Oh, well said. It seems a very robust process to ensure that your curriculum is updated. And I really like that broad scope of stakeholders, the consumers, clinicians. And in fact, I want to ask you a question about the relationship between faculty and clinicians. We heard last session how important that relationship is. And I know that your faculty has certain expectations of your clinical preceptors in order to ensure that sort of consistency across delivering evidence-based knowledge and skills. Do you want to talk a little bit about that relationship?
Yes, the Riley Mother and Baby Hospital is the teaching hospital where the students from Moi University College of Health Sciences will have their clinical placements. And so there has been a collaboration between the school and the hospital through a program that was developed with the support of some North American partners. We call it the Clinical Nurse Midwifery Educator Program, or the CNE program. And the CNEs usually work as preceptors, and they help us in clinical preceptorship and also assessment of students. And there is further collaboration that is happening, to see how best to work out better ways of teaching between the institution and the hospital to ensure that the theory practice gap is shortened and that the students are able to get consistent evidence-based practice and knowledge from both the faculty and the CNEs who work together in collaboration. And this is including teaching in antenatal labor rooms and postnatal, or where the students are placed throughout their program in midwifery education.
So it sounds like there's a very strong relationship and a connection and an expectation that there will be guidelines that we've followed both in faculty and in the clinical site. So that's wonderful for your students. Lydia, I would like to chat more, but we've run out of time, and I can see lots of questions have been posted on my phone and in the chat. Charles, is there anything, or Shisato, if we have time for maybe one more question for one of our panelists before we close? I know that, Rachel, you've been answering and responding, which is great, in the chat. Charles, is there anything burning that you want to say? And thank you, Lydia. That was wonderful to hear about your work in Kenya.
Thank you.
I mean, the only comment I want to make is that I think in terms of faculty development and CPD programs for midwifery educators, I think we've made a good start. I think they just need to, we just need to strengthen how we measure the impact of what we're doing. And, ask the question, is there a need to make sure that those who really support the training of midwives, so in the classroom or in the clinical area, that they're getting specific training for this? It is mandatory, and they're having regular training for this. So they have training that is relevant for them to improve the quality of their teaching. I think that's one way we can guarantee the quality of the products, the skilled health personnel that come out from these institutions. So I feel that area still needs to be strengthened, in this experience, in middle and low income countries. Thank you.
And Charles, I think in the chat we have put the CWEA, Continuing World Education Alliance. There are some wonderful free training programs that midwives can undertake. So if you Google CWEA, you will see some of the Liverpool School of Tropical Medicines and Burnett, and a whole lot of courses that you can take. Thank you, Charles, for summing that up. Danny, we might move to the next slide, because I think we are 1 minute away. And really just these are the key points, the takeaways, is to not only assess the capacity of our educators, but to support them with continuing education opportunities, so that they can do trainings, they can do online blended learning, that they get support to remain skillful teachers. It's key, so that they have the quality. And as Lydia mentioned, that continual review cycle. At the end of each teaching cycle, we need to start reviewing and updating our curriculum again. And just on that point, I want to put a very a last minute plug that we'll talk a little bit more possibly next session, which is educating students. UNFPA and ICM have developed a sample midwifery curriculum that is coming out very soon. It's both direct entry and post-nursing midwifery programs. All the ICM essential competencies are in there. They're aligned to the learning outcomes, to the assessment criteria, and there's room for countries to adapt these modules for country contents. So we'll hear more about that later. So Charles, I want to thank you so much for coming to moderate. It's been such a pleasure, and to all our speakers, Rachel, Maria Therese Padilla, and Lydia Manzina, thank you so much. And Daniela, you did so well despite technical hiccups that were not your fault. And Shisato and our interpreters, a big thank you. And of course to our audience, thank you for coming and your continuing support. And we really hope to see you when we do webinar 6, Educate Students. And you'll get reminders about that, and also an update of who is presenting. Thank you all, be well, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks, Daniela. We don't get
Daniela. Thanks for the Bye.
Thanks, Daniela.
Recording stopped.
Thank you, everybody. I apologize for the errors at the beginning, and I don't know what was wrong with the spotlighting. I did it exactly the same way that Bruno was doing it, and it just did not work out.
All good. Was great.
close
The
the
content is
webinar.
the most important thing.
Let me see. Yeah, is there a way just to go back to the practice session? That I'm not sure about.
Maybe we could start earlier, like 30 minutes ahead of time.
It was working really well before we went to air, wasn't it, Daniela?
It was working fine, and then as soon as we went into the webinar, it just all started going a little haywire.
Everyone, follow up with some emails. Go enjoy your day, and thank you so much to you all.
Yeah, I appreciate your support, everybody, and in 2 weeks you'll have Bruno back. Thank you for, and Lydia, bravo for thinking of getting on your mobile phone. That was brilliant, and it worked out really well.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Yeah, and thank you to the interpreters. I hope everything was working. I didn't see any comments saying that it wasn't, so it must have been. And enjoy the rest of your day, everyone.
Thanks, Daniela. Bye, everyone.
Take care.
Bye.
Thanks, Daniela. Bye.
Bye.